Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. We just got back from our summer vacation. We took about 6 or 7 days and went and stayed out at my parents' Airbnb on Conneaut Lake in Pennsylvania. We had a few YouTube guests come to visit us, Adam from Indie Farm Life and Kyle from Spicer Designs. Just got back yesterday, had a few things I need to take care of, go refuel up the fuel tank, get the roadside stands restocked because we got completely wiped out over the 4th of July holiday weekend. And we are all recharged, refreshed, and ready to get back into it. So first thing on the agenda is I want to start getting into these triaxle loads of logs that we just bought a few weeks ago. And this is going to be the real first test for this Eastonmade Evo that we've done here as far as scrap. I've mentioned before I was really curious to see what that 16-way wedge on this firewood processor was going to make in terms of scrap, but we haven't given it a fair test to this point because we've always been running 2-year-old wood through it that was really punky around the outer edge, and I think it was giving us a lot more scrap than we're going to get with these fresh green poles. So we're going to get this log deck loaded up with some nice green poles, start making some wood. Before we do that though, I do want to show you a little bit about our vacation.
So anytime you're going on vacation, the last thing you want to see in the weather forecast is rain, but I will say if you ever get a chance to watch a thunderstorm over a body of water, it's pretty mesmerizing to see the rain just come down in sheets over a lake like this. But the weather cleared up shortly after when Kyle and Adam were showing up with their families, and here you can see the kids playing with squirt guns. I bought these on Amazon. They are battery-powered squirt guns, and they are the coolest things ever. They're even fun for adults, but I will leave a link in the description below. But this kept the kids busy for hours, and I think Kyle and Adam both actually ended up ordering a set of these guns as well. Shortly after that, the sun came out, which was the perfect time to get on the pontoon boat because the rain had scared everybody away, so we basically had the lake to ourselves, and then everybody got a turn on the tube behind the pontoon boat. Now, you might think tubing behind a pontoon boat might be kind of lame, but the old girl's got 115 horsepower Mercury behind her, and she boogies. And you can see here, the kids do need to hang on because they'll get bounced around pretty good. After tubing, we get to my favorite part, which is to find a nice quiet bay on the lake and drop anchor and just sit and float, let the kids swim. Kyle had the most important job of launching the kids as high as he could into the lake. Then we were greeted by a pair of ducks.
Don't put it back in there. Where'd you put your goggles in?
The next day, neighbor Doug invited us all over for a pool party over at his place, and I can't tell you how much progress all of the kids made on swimming. And that's mainly because neighbor Doug was working with a lot of them individually, one-on-one. Doug was a lifeguard in high school, and there's just something about Doug. He's so good with kids, it's crazy. Even in the wintertime, he comes over and gives the kids skating lessons too because he also played hockey. So just a shout out to neighbor Doug for being an awesome dude. Kyle and Adam only stayed for about 3 days, and then I had another 3 days with my family actually coming up right after. And the very first day we were there, we all went for an e-bike ride. We have a really nice nature trail that we can go ride bikes on. And what good bike ride doesn't end with a wine tasting at the local winery here in Conneaut Lake? While we were out on the bike ride, the kids were polishing up their cornhole skills. Any of you guys have been following the channel for a while know when it comes to parties and gatherings, we throw down when it comes to food. So here's just a little sampling of all the things we had to eat. Burgers, stir fry, macaroni salad, pasta salad, fruit, baked beans. Lana makes this Brussels sprouts and bacon dish that she adds maple syrup to, so the sweet and the salty is just like the perfect combination together. One awesome thing I never knew existed until this weekend that my sisters brought up are these fly fans. If you're having any kind of picnic or anything, these things are awesome to keep the fly away from your leftovers. I'll also leave a link to these in the description below.
right, we're back, ready to rock and roll. I did want to show you guys real quick the scrap that comes off of this barrel screener. This is what I'm talking about when I say that those old poles, you can kind of see the outer edge there is a little bit punky, and just creates a lot more of this than I think these green logs are going to. What I have found in making the probably 30 or 40 cords out of our logs is I could fill up about 4 of these baskets before I would have to go and take this and dump it. So I'm curious to see how full this dump trailer is going to be when we get 4 full baskets here. I think it's going to be considerably less, at least that's what I'm hoping anyway. But in order to get a fair test, I need to go take this and dump it. So we've got an empty, fresh slate. And to do that, we've got a new piece of equipment here I want to show you guys. Anytime I've gone to go empty that Ultratech dump trailer out, this has been my setup here. It's pallet forks with a little fork pocket and a ball hitch receiver on the end there. And it has worked. The problem is anytime you want to go move any substantial trailer, right? So like my deck over trailer, there's no way being this far out away from the pivot pins that I would be able to pick up my gooseneck deck over trailer with this setup here because it's too far out away from the pivot pins. Plus it also adds a lot more extra torque on all of those bushings and pins and everything. And so one thing I had been wanting to get for a while now is a skid steer quick attach trailer mover. And that's what we've got here. This is from Express Steel. They are made in America, Indiana, more specifically. And you can see this is just going to get that ball right off of your pivot pins on the loader of the mini skid. And so I think with this, I should be able to move just about any trailer I have here, including my 25-foot gooseneck deck over trailer. So we're gonna say sayonara to the old setup, get this thing mounted on, and go empty that Ultratech dump trailer. All right, the dump trailer is all emptied out. Only thing left to do now is to start loading up the live deck with wood. This is the first time I'm gonna try putting full-length 25-foot poles on the deck because I'll be able to make firewood a lot faster if I don't have to sit here and cut all of these in half. I'll be able to get more wood on the deck. I'll be able to process one log for longer before I have to roll the next one in. It's just gonna really increase efficiency. But the problem is, as you can see, I can only bring a log so far forward before it's going to hit this upright post here on the housing of the operator's platform. And then you really start to get overhanging quite long on the other side. I had mentioned at some point I may end up building some kind of 4th leg here for the live deck. I haven't decided exactly on the design yet, if I'm going to build something freestanding like a sawhorse or try to attach it to the machine itself. But as the way this one sits on here, as long as I keep the butt end, the heavy side, on the saw side, that's enough weight to keep that anchored down and keep the light end from tipping down. So we're gonna go ahead and try to load up the rest of the live deck here and see if we can keep all these on here without this 4th leg extension. All right, we got the log deck loaded up and not a single one is tipping off. I bet you I could sit on this end over here and pull one of these down if I wanted to. That's right at the tipping point there. But just for and gigs, let's see how long of firewood poles you can expect to get on the Eastonmade Evo. Now this is a 25-foot tape, so we'll see if this log maxes it out. Right there is 22 feet, 23, 24, yeah, 24 foot 8 inches, so almost 25 feet, and we've got 5 of them sitting on there. Now, the one thing I haven't mentioned yet is we've talked about this in the past. This load of logs here, this is a load of firewood poles. This load was $950. This is a load of scrag poles. This was $1,250. Smaller diameter, larger diameter. We're planning on doing a test, or we're starting that test today, to see how many cords do we get out of the cheaper load versus how many cords are we going to get out of the more expensive load. So everything we just put on there right now, just keep that in mind. 25-foot poles of smaller diameter stuff will fit on there if you keep the butt end on the saw side. I'm not sure if that's going to make much of a difference when we switch to the scrag load. All right, so we just got done making the first 2 baskets. We still need to make 2 more, but I wanted to give you my first initial knee-jerk reaction. And that is, I have been doing this machine a huge disservice in all of the videos I have made with it thus far. I just made these 2 baskets of wood, which works out to roughly about a half a cord of wood, in 15 minutes. The amount of efficiency increase that I just gained by running full 25-foot poles on this machine and green with very little crooks or knots or whatever, I just flew through that log deck. 15 minutes, half a cord, which means realistically, if you're running perfect wood like this, I think with this Eastonmade Evo, you could see upwards of 2 cords an hour based on what I just did. And keep in mind, that was also filming and moving cameras around too. So you're probably, again, running perfect wood like this, 2, maybe even 2.5 cords per hour with this Eastonmade Evo. Cut, split, and since we do have the barrel screener from Yappa here, it's all screened. And after the first 2 baskets, here's the amount of scrap that we got. Again, in the past when I was running my old crooked half punky wood through, I would get 4 baskets like this, and this would be full. And you can see we still have a good bit of room left in the front, good bit of room left here in the back. I'll be curious, we get these 2 baskets out of here, put 2 new fresh ones in, and see what this looks like when we get 4 baskets in. Now, the other thing that could be skewing our results on the scrap and giving us a little bit more than what we thought we would get right now is the fact that we are running all of the smaller diameter firewood poles. So if we look at this wedge right now, you can see that last piece that went through. We've got 2 good solid pieces on the bottom, but then we're getting these little slivers on top. And I think when we start running the scrag load through here and we're able to kind of maximize this whole wedge out, all of these pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we should be getting 10 full-size pieces out and only, you know, a handful of these, whereas right now we're getting 4 to 6 good pieces out and a handful of these. So I think when we start running larger diameter wood through here and maxing out this 16-way wedge, I think that's going to contribute to a lot less scrap as well. All right, 2 more baskets done. This one took about 20 minutes just because a lot of the stuff that I put on the live deck for that load was small diameter. So like 3 and 4 inch stuff that you're basically just cutting and splitting in half. So it takes a little bit longer to put up wood when you're still cycling and cutting, but you're only getting 2 splits out every single time. But one thing I will tell you is the small individual splits make significantly less scrap. If we look at the difference between when we finished the first 2 baskets and those 2 baskets, we really didn't add a whole lot of scrap to this trailer because, you know, again, when we're running the small 3 and 4 inch stuff, you raise this wedge all the way up and then you're just using the bottom of the 16-way wedge, splitting it in half, and you're not creating hardly any scrap when you do it that way. So in this video, we made a couple small tweaks to the process to make everything run smoother. One being buying good quality firewood poles. The second, I don't know if you guys noticed here in the background, but I brought a Mafia block in here. So when I come to pick up all the sawdust off of the saw, I'm not sitting there trying to rake it into the bucket. I actually have a backstop there that I can push the bucket into and get nice big heaping scoops and not have to get in and out of the tractor. The last area of this whole process that needs improving is how I'm collecting the scrap off of this barrel screener. My least favorite part of the whole process is emptying out this dump trailer because it does not dump steep enough for all of the chaff to fall out of the back. I have to get a pitchfork and a rake and remove it manually.